I want you to pause for just a second. Don't stop what you're doing. Just notice your body. Notice your shoulders. Are they up by your ears? Are you clenching your jaw right now?
Yeah.
There's this very specific heavy sensation that I think a lot of us are carrying around. It's that, that grinding feeling of trying to keep the machine running when the tank is just completely empty.
It's a very modern kind of heaviness. It's different from just, say, a hard day's labor. It's something else.
It really is.
Oh.
And today, we're going to do something a little different. We are not going to try to fix that feeling.
No 5 hacks to boost your energy.
Exactly. No maximizing your output. Instead, we're going to sit with a stack of sources, philosophy, psychology, some notes on AI, even to try and understand why living in a human body feels so much like a performance these days.
And why the harder we try to control that performance, the more exhausted we actually seem to get.
We have a really fascinating mix. Han Byung-chul, Paul Tillich, Lori Gottlieb, Eric Fromm.
It sounds academic.
It sounds like a syllabus, I know. But the thread connecting all of them is surprisingly intimate. It's about this tension between being a machine, which is what we think we should be,
and being a soft animal, which is what we actually are.
That distinction right there, machine versus animal, is really at the heart of the first big idea we need to look at.
This comes from the philosopher Han Byung-chul. He talks about this shift into what he calls the achievement society.
Right. And he argues that we've gone through this huge change in how we relate to authority.
Yeah, we used to live in a disciplinary world, a world of no.
A world where the church or the state or your boss, they were the ones who told you what you were forbidden to do.
Exactly. The limits were external. Someone else built the wall, so you knew where it was. But Han argues that now. Now we live in a world of yes.
A world of can.
The world of can. The message isn't you must not, it's you can. You can do anything. You can maximize your potential. You can be the best version of yourself.
Which, I mean, on the surface, that sounds empowering. It's what we wanted, right? Autonomy.
Of course. But the trap is that when the command is you can, there's no limit. There's no point where you're ever finished. If you can do anything, then you feel like you should be doing everything.
And that's where the exploitation changes. It's not a master exploiting you anymore.
Now you exploit yourself. You become both the master and the slave. Han calls it a rat race against oneself.
That's a terrifying phrase.
It is. You're the one cracking the whip on your own back, and because you're doing it, you think you're free.
We see this hustle as freedom, but the result is this very specific, crushing type of exhaustion.
Which Han has a name for. He calls it eye-tiredness.
Eye-tiredness. It's such a perfect term.
It really is, and it's not the tiredness of a group working together on something. This is a solitary fatigue. It separates you from everyone else.
Because you're just so focused on your own lack, your own performance. You can't look outward.
You're just grinding your jaw on your own inadequacy. It makes you speechless. It isolates you.
And speaking of being isolated, of building walls,
Yeah.
that leads us right into this metaphor from Paul Tillich. Because when we feel that exposed, we naturally try to defend ourselves.
Right. He talks about the castle.
The castle.
And to get the castle, you have to understand what we're hiding from. Tillich calls it the anxiety of non-being. It's this deep, deep fear that we might just cease to matter or just dissolve.
The fear that if I stop moving, I disappear.
Essentially, yeah. So to deal with that, the anxious part of us builds a structure, a castle of fixed habits and rigid schedules and controlled behaviors. We retreat into this castle to defend ourselves against the unknown.
I think we all know what that feels like from the inside. It's that voice that says, if I just organize my calendar perfectly, or if I eat exactly the right foods,
If I never say the wrong thing,
then I'll be safe.
yeah.
It's this belief that strict order can protect us from the chaos of life.
But it's a trap. Because we shrink our world down to this tiny, controllable box rather than face the messy unpredictability of just being alive. We fear things that aren't actually dangerous, like vulnerability.
And we feel safe in habits that actually hurt us.
Yeah.
Because at least there are habits. We're in control.
There's this story from Lori Gottlieb's book that just illustrates this so perfectly. It's funny, but it's also kind of a nightmare.
Right.
She's a therapist. So she goes to work, sees her patients, she's doing her professional thing, nodding, taking notes, being the expert.
Right.
And at the end of the day, she catches a glimpse of herself in a reflection and realizes she has been wearing her pajama top the entire time.
Oh no, the absolute panic.
Sheer panic, but why? It's just a shirt.
It's not about the shirt. It's about being found out.
Found out as what?
As a human, as a mess, as someone who didn't check the mirror. She writes about this fear that if we lose control of the little details, people will see our shame, our insecurities.
The fear that if the costume slips, the whole performance is ruined. We are terrified of being exposed as these imperfect, soft creatures.
And that exposure feels like death to the ego. We spend so much energy hiding our reality, our fatigue, our mistakes, because we think that performance is what keeps us safe.
But you can't just tell the body to shut up and perform forever.
No. It eventually stages a protest.
It always does. And this is where we see this idea that self-sabotage is actually a really twisted form of control.
This concept always gets me. How is ruining things a form of control? It seems like the opposite.
Well, think about the anxiety of the unknown. If you're terrified of failing unexpectedly, then causing the failure yourself can actually feel safer.
You're calling the shots.
They're calling the shots. I didn't lose, I quit. I didn't get fired because I'm bad at my job. I got fired because I showed up late on purpose.
So even if the ship is sinking, I want to be the one who drilled the hole.
Exactly. But the body has even more direct ways of protesting. There's this phenomenon, it used to be called conversion disorder.
I've read about this. It's fascinating. It's where deep anxiety, well, it converts into actual physical symptoms.
Things like blindness, paralysis, tremors, with no medical cause. The body just says no when the mouth won't.
It's a hard stop.
It is. And Freud saw this in dreams, too. That universal dream we've all had where you're trying to run from something.
But your legs feel like lead.
Yes. Or you're trying to scream and no sound comes out.
Ooh, the glued to the stairs dream. It's visceral.
It feels like a nightmare. But Freud says it's a conflict of will. One part of you, the conscious part, wants to go forward. But a deeper part of you refuses. That paralysis is the body's truth breaking through the mind's censorship. It's a rebellion.
It's a sit-in strike inside your own muscles.
It is. And there's another, much more common bodily betrayal that Susan Cain writes about. Blushing.
Oh, the worst.
The ultimate loss of control. You cannot will yourself not to blush. In fact, the more you think don't blush, the redder you get.
Immediately. You feel the heat rising.
And we hate it. We feel exposed. But Cain points out that social psychologists see blushing as a moral emotion.
A moral emotion? That seems contradictory. It feels like pure shame.
It does, but what it signals to the group is that you care what they think. It shows you respect the social rules you just broke. It's an apology your body makes for you.
So people actually judge you more positively.
Studies show that, yes, because it proves you aren't shameless. It's the body being honest when the mind might want to lie and act cool.
That's actually really beautiful. The very things we try to control, the shaking, the freezing, the blushing, are maybe the most honest parts of us.
They are. They're the cracks in the castle wall where our humanity gets in.
But why are we so desperate to build those walls in the first place? Why is the body such a source of anxiety?
Eric Fromm has a theory on this that goes way, way back. He looks at the story of Adam and Eve, but psychologically.
Not religiously.
Not religiously. He sees their expulsion from Eden as the moment of human awareness. The moment they eat from the tree of knowledge, the very first thing they notice is that they are naked.
And they feel shame, so they cover themselves up.
Fromm says the shame isn't because their bodies are bad, but because they realize for the first time that they are separate. I am me, and you are you. That gap, that separateness, he argues, is the source of all human anxiety. We are fundamentally alone in our own skin.
But we spend our whole lives trying to bridge that gap.
We do. We try to do it through conformity, trying to be just like the herd, or through what he calls orgiastic states, which is basically numbing out to forget we're alone.
But they're all temporary fixes.
Always. And I think today we have this new, very modern way of dealing with that separateness. We don't just envy the herd.
We envy machines.
We envy machines. This soft machine anxiety is a huge factor in our current exhaustion.
It's everywhere. You look at AI or you watch films like Her or Ex Machina, and I think we project something very specific onto them. It's not just that they're smart.
It's that they don't have friction.
Friction, that's the perfect word.
Think about Samantha and Her.
Yeah.
She's a voice. She's witty, available, infinitely patient. She doesn't have a bad back. She doesn't get hangry.
She doesn't have hormones crashing.
Yeah.
She's pure, efficient consciousness.
And we look at our own lives. Our messy, leaking, aching bodies that need to sleep, that get sick, that blush, and we feel obsolete. We want to be processors. We want to work 24/7 without the shame of biological limits.
We're all trying to optimize ourselves into becoming Ava from Ex Machina. Sleek, no mess. We track our sleep, our steps, our food. We treat the body like hardware that needs an upgrade.
But the sources all point out the danger here. When we try to act like machines, we crash. We get digital fatigue and toxic stress because we're denying our organic nature. We are soft animals trying to be hard drives.
And the physical toll of that masquerade is just massive.
Susan Cain talks about this with the idea of acting out of character. She tells the story of this professor, Professor Little. He was a classic introvert, recharged by solitude, sensitive to stimulation. But he was also a brilliant teacher who loved his students, so he would perform this extreme extroversion all day. I mean, dancing on tables, the whole thing.
That was putting on a great show.
A fantastic show, winning awards for it, but then he ended up with double pneumonia.
And that wasn't a coincidence.
Cain says no. This emotional labor, faking your personality, it triggers your body's stress response. Your mind might be saying, I can do this, but your body knows you're faking. Your cortisol spikes. Your immune system suffers. The body keeps the score.
And sometimes that crash, that forced stop, looks like something Julia Cameron calls a kriya.
This is a fascinating concept. A kriya is a Sanskrit word, but she uses it to describe a spiritual seizure.
I think I've felt this. It's that thing where you finish a huge project or end a relationship or have a big breakthrough, and the next day you get the flu.
A rotten head cold, a fever, you're stuck in bed, and we think, oh, what bad luck.
The worst timing.
But Cameron says no, that is the psyche cleaning house. It's the old self dying and the new self being born.
It's a physical processing of an emotional change.
Exactly. And the body registers that transition as a kind of sickness. We resent the downtime, but the downtime is the transition.
It's the castle walls finally falling.
It is. It's a necessary surrender. You have to stop moving to integrate what just happened.
So if we stop fighting the body, if we stop trying to be these invincible machines, what are we supposed to do? Just sit there? I mean, that sounds terrifying.
Well, according to Fromm, that is the hardest thing in the world to do.
Just sitting.
Just sitting still. He makes this distinction between speed and patience. We love speed. Speed feels like accomplishment, but it's often just a way of avoiding yourself. Patience, he says, is endurance and effort. It's staying with the difficulty.
He has that practice, he suggests,
Yeah.
right? To just try sitting still.
Yes. He says if you try it, just sit, close your eyes, do nothing, no phone, no music, you will immediately feel anxiety.
Oh, instantly. My brain starts making to-do lists. I remember an email I forgot to send. I start to itch.
Fromm says that is you fleeing the void. You are filling the space with noise to avoid the experience of just being.
But there's a way through that terror, right? This brings us back to Han Byung-chul and the idea of we tiredness.
This is the beautiful counterpoint to the eye tiredness we started with. Eye tiredness is solitary, grinding your teeth alone. But we tiredness, he says, this is a tiredness that trusts in the world.
I love that phrase. A tiredness that trusts.
He describes it as a state where the walls of the ego loosen because we're just too tired to hold them up anymore. It's not about me achieving something or you achieving something. It's about us just being tired together.
It sounds like a real friendliness.
It is. It's a state of indifference in the best possible way. No one is performing. No one dominates. We're just two tired beings in a room allowing the world to hold us up for a minute.
It's the difference between fighting sleep because you have more to do and sinking into sleep because you know you're safe.
That's it. Peace isn't about controlling the body perfectly. It's about a tiredness that lets the defenses drop. It's realizing the gap, the separateness, can be bridged not by being perfect, but by being vulnerable together.
There's this quote from Han Byung-chul that I just found so moving but also so sad. It's a whole tragedy in one sentence. He's writing about a couple, alienated from each other, stuck in their separate castles. And he writes, "Never in all the world could I have said to her, 'I'm tired of you.' I could never have uttered the simple word 'tired.'"
Wow, that is heartbreaking. He couldn't admit the fatigue.
And he says, which, if we had both shouted it at once, might have set us free.
If I had just shouted tired at the same time.
It would have been a shared admission of humanity. We were both empty, we were both struggling, we were both soft animals.
And in that admission, the separateness, the shame, it vanishes. Because the shame is in the hiding, the connection is in the exhaustion.
It really changes how you see the end of the day. Instead of viewing my tiredness as a failure to have more energy, maybe it's the most honest part of me.
It's the part of you that's ready to connect if you just let it.
So here's our thought for you to carry into the rest of your day. You are probably holding something tight right now. Your stomach, your schedule, your image.
checking the walls of your castle.
So just notice your fatigue today. Don't try to fix it right away with caffeine or a screen. Don't try to hide it. Just see it. See it as the most honest thing your body is telling you.
Allow yourself to be tired. Not I tired, alone in your head, but just tired, part of the human race.
Stop fighting the soft animal of your body. Let it breathe. Thanks for diving deep with us.
Take care.